Welcome back to Be the Trader, everybody. Today I have a very, very special episode where it's behind the scenes. It's a conversation that I had with Nate from Investors Underground after we did the interview, which was a couple of weeks back. If you haven't listened to that interview, make sure to go check it out. But he ends up giving me some good advice on helping me grow my own trading. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you do. And if you do, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, share this with other traders because it helps me grow, and we're passing along good knowledge to other traders, right? We want to help each other. Let's make this a good community. And if you're listening on the podcast platform, please give the show a rating and review. It helps us a lot to find new viewers and listeners. Thanks again, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so earlier I was asking you that question at the very beginning of the show. It was more selfish because I was going through this time where, I'm looking for 3R gains, 3R plus, and I'm starting to get that consistently. And I don't know, like for some reason, it doesn't feel like it's like real to me, or for some reason, like on Friday, I had a trade that worked out. I didn't get my full size, and I started doubting, like, am I not, like, is this real, or is this like, did I not get full size? Because I started to have self-doubt, like, I'm not really doing well. I'm just, this is just luck. I keep on having these weird feelings of like when things are going really well, that I'm just like, it's not real. And I start to like focus on negative stuff, which is so weird for me, man. So that's why I was curious. Like,
yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that's happening right now. There's a lot of stuff that's working right now. And really to that point is also, I think you had mentioned earlier, you just do like one entry and one exit, but also, how can you better that trade as well? So we'll hit that in a minute. But, as far as doubting and all that kind of stuff, I mean, that's always going to be part of you until you start to scale up. And I don't know where you're at personally, but, once you store it away, and you need to stop, you don't need to make every single day when you're good, then, that kind of stuff starts to go away. But there's always going to be that little bit of a doubt, like, is this the one that's going to, take my career away? Is this the one, how is this so good? How is this adding up so fast? But, that is the market right now, and it is. And it's just about minimizing those days that take it back, So the faster that you can stack that, the better. But going back to that point with the one entry types of thing, when you have that 1R, 2R, or 3R, 4R, 5R, at what point can you protect that average and scale into that, and be able to now compound? And that's what I was talking about, compounding. It's not necessarily P&L based, right?
Yeah.
It's not, but at the end of the day, you looked at it and maybe you're up $3,000 or $5,000, whatever it was. But had you scaled in when it failed this level and then this level, could it have been 10K at the end of the day?
See, I've been thinking about that too. Yeah, because like I'm in one entry out at a minimum of 3R, I take half. And then the rest I let scale out through 4, 5, 6R, because I just have found, for me, my strategy, I'm very selective. Like for instance, I only placed 5 trades this week. Like I'm very selective. And so like I'm patient. I'm not worried about placing multiple trades. And but then I started thinking, I was like, man, like over time, maybe like you just said, like there'll be areas. Like that's why I record my screen. Like I want to see it over and over. And then I'm like, maybe I'll be able to find ways, like you're saying, where I can just enhance this same trade, but enhance it to where maybe
enhancing is a great word. And that is exactly. So say you didn't have that first entry, right? Yeah. Where would you be looking to enter? That's a great ad, right? So you have this perfect entry. It's working. You're up nice, but you expect it to continue to fail. Pretend you didn't have that entry. Where would you enter? That's a good spot to add. Do it again an hour later if it's continuing to work. And I don't know how much fundamental analysis plays a role into what you do and things like that, but there are certain trades where 90% of the time this should happen, right? Yeah. So those are the ones. It's not the problem is.
Oh, I gotcha.
A lot of people just want to size up, right? And they're like, okay, it's time to size, so I'm going to go 2x, I'm going to go 10x. But it's not that. It's particular opportunities, it's particular situations. It's that the stock should have rebounded there and it didn't, and it had a huge stuff. A bunch of volume came off, and now it's unwinding. Great ad. Opportunities like that. I think where a lot of people get afraid of size and put on too much size is they just think, just like you on your first entry, they're going to put in 5K instead of 1K or 10K instead of 5K. And now their emotions are like, screwing with them. And they're like, all right, normally I'd be okay with this, but now I'm not. Now I'm going to get out. You missed the whole opportunity. So I think with the one entry, that's great. And it's teaching you patience, but there's nothing wrong with putting on another little bit as it's working. And you can also scale it down throughout the day too. Instead of one cover, it's 2 covers. And I do that a lot. You see me, sometimes when I post charts, people are like, why the hell are you adding there? Like, I was covering there. But it goes back to the same thought, right? If you're expecting this to pull back and expecting it to go to X, why isn't that an ad, right? Just because it's a big flush, the flush finally came. The pullback finally came. So the table finally turned. Why aren't you just joining, with more and going with it? So personally for me, when I start to scale, I always wait once again for it to kind of exhaust out, all those first covers. So it pulls back, exhaust out, exhaust out, exhaust out. Kind of like that basketball analogy, bouncing along, a certain risk level or a
key level,
support level. And then I like to scale in after that. Now you have a new risk area.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me. Like I've been experimenting, like I'll figure it out along the way. Right. But like, I've been experimenting with holding, like, cause in the past I've been consistent, but like I've been consistent at getting like 2R, like 2R on average. You know what I'm saying? Like my goal was 3, but I kept getting 2R and I was like, holy crap. Like, why am I not getting, cause I see them go 5, 6, I'm just like, so now I'm consistent at getting 3R plus, but and the only one thing that helped me is I don't adjust my risk anymore at all until like literally at all, man. Like, and that's because I'm trying to teach myself too that, and I know this is, as I evolve, it'll change. I don't expect this to be forever, but for now, I want to be able to be like, you know what? It's either going to give me my profit target or it's going to hit my risk and I'm done. Like, I got to accept that 100%. Right. And then I'm at a point where I'm only cutting it at my risk or cutting it at the end of the day when it didn't hit either or.
Does your risk change?
My risk does not change anymore. It used to before when I was averaging like 2, 1.8, 2, 2.2, like R, is because I kept adjusting my risk.
Right.
And I was adjusting it and those little shitty ass pops that would just squeeze other shorts and then I would be included.
Right.
I would end up taking a 2R and I started questioning myself. I was like, am I adjusting because of greed or because of fear of giving back? And so I said, you know what? I want to get rid of that if I am. So that's why I took this this big dramatic, like I'm not adjusting at all, but I will adjust in the future. Just right now, I've been really focused on building this habit because I want to increase the R value because I'm okay with losing more, but 30, like I have a good win percentage, which doesn't fucking matter, but I do have one. But I'm okay with losing that because I want to see an experiment because I've been consistent for a while, man. I just trying to like see what I can do to make this better. And I like what you said because I am thinking that way. I'm like, okay, I've been doing this for a while now with this new way, but now I'm looking for key areas to where I can adjust and add on that pop where everyone's getting squeezed. And now I'm up. Now I just went from a 4R trade to a 8, 9, 10R trade in the same setup. So like, that's what I'm looking to do now. So
which is exactly the way that I trade with, certain situations where I might start into 20, 50 or 100,000 shares short with 500 shares, right? 500, scale to 1,000, it's starting to work, scale to 5, scale to 10. And then as it gets, to key levels and it's breaking down, that's when I might go 20, 50 and so on and so forth. But it all starts, with a little bit. So it's very similar. It's just about picking those entries and figuring out where, that exhaustion point is, where it should have rebounded. That's the other thing is like, it should have rebounded there. It didn't. So why aren't you, scaling in? And
those happen where I'm like, what the hell? Like it should have been. And then I'm just like, it just keeps going.
One other thing that can help with that too, is rather than just having the same risk all the time, ask yourself where you're going to be wrong. Where is this trade wrong? Where do I become wrong? Because, if you have a thesis, you want it to, fade all day. But at what point do you become wrong? It might not be up here anymore. It might be, if it rebounds and re-breaks this level from 11 a.m., then, my thought is wrong. So I'm going to move on. So now you are out with a profit. Instead, with what you're saying, you might still be risking 40 cents and go red on the trade. So, and don't underestimate the fact that just going right back in,
that's a bad habit for me. Like, no, I'm better at it now, but back in the day I used to be like, I just get back in. Sometimes you can be real loose with that.
Yeah, I get that. Anytime that I have size, I am very loose with being able to get in and get out. Like if it stops going down and I have size, then I usually get back to what my core was. And then, I might re-add right very second later, but I needed to see it rebound and stuff and prove, rather than be part of that candle that might go into, a circuit, whatever. So that's one thing that, especially as you're scaling in, don't overstay, but you are leaving a lot on the table if you are having consistency with picking the ones that are fading all day. If you're not adding, it's all about protecting that average, adjusting that average, but you'll see exponential change with that P&L, which is a factor of the proper process that you're talking, by scaling into that winner.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate that. I just something I wanted to talk about.
Awesome.